Hey guys, Sparks back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. Rupee may be addicted to shopping, but I'll show you why you should be addicted to Rupee. She's an Iron type Burst 2 attacker with an AR. So let's take a look at her skills. Her first skill activates after landing 100 normal hits, so about 1.5 magazines. It affects all Iron type allies, it increases buff stacks by 1, and raises the crit rate for 10 seconds. This is easily her worst skill. I used to play around with all Iron type squads in Sim Room with people like Laplace, Rapunzel, etc. But in reality, it's not that useful. The one thing it is somewhat useful for is increasing the stacks of buffs. So it's not useless, but it's just kind of mid, I guess you could say. Her second skill activates after 30 attacks and affects herself. It increases attack for 15 seconds and can stack up to 5 times. This is an extremely strong skill that ramps up her damage close to that of some of the top Burst 3 attackers. This alone makes her one of the best attackers in the game, period. Her burst is a 20-second cooldown, which of course is always great, and if you're playing on manual, it requires you to place it on the map. It's a small AoE that will deal a large attack percentage to anything that hits. Plus, if her skill 2 is fully stacked, it will increase all allies' attacks again for 5 seconds. This is another very strong move, especially because it raises attack during full burst. Honestly, I could end the review right here, and you should already be sold on building Rupee. But let's talk about cubes. This is another strength because she doesn't need any particular cube, which frees you up to do whatever you need with the rest of your squad. I happen to have the Bastion cube on her just because the Bastion cube is good in general, and it's my highest level cube, and I want her to have as much attack as possible. The Resilience cube might technically be the best increased reload speed. It gives her just that slight bit of flexibility in combat to immediately reload in some situations, but like I said, she can kind of use anything as long as you're not doing charge speed or something like that, obviously. So now let's take a look at her baseline damage in the shooting range. I'm comparing her against a variety of other Burst 2 units with the same squad to see how she stacks up. Guilty is well known for her extremely high damage, so she's the first unit we'll take a look at. And that formation did a little over 137 million damage. Then I tried Dola in this same formation, and it surprised me by doing almost the exact same amount of damage. It's worth noting that Guilty is base, whereas Dola is core 1. But also keep in mind, using Dola with leader isn't really optimal for her, so there's a little bit of give and take there. But the point is to just get a general idea of how much damage the squad does without changing too many variables. Now, Rupee, on the other hand, did a very impressive 145 million damage. And Rupee is LB3 here, but this is still a considerable difference. ARs are also much more versatile than shotguns or snipers for a variety of situations, not to mention she pairs well with leader because of the iron bonus from that first skill, and you're not doubling up on the cooldown like you would be with Dola. Rupee can honestly be put in just about any squad. We don't really need any specific squad mates for her to perform well by herself and raise the damage of everyone else. I used her personally to beat Nihilister in Chapter 20. She really increased my DPS there. She's a great unit for most of interception bosses, and really the only time you might not want to use her is like if you're really struggling in a hard campaign stage where you need more survivability, in which case I'd recommend using Senti, or if I was making a highly specialized team for raids, like focusing on Snow White or Alice. But even then, Rupee is almost certainly going to be on one of my raid teams. Now, when we look at PvP, it kind of falls apart. Rupee still isn't bad, but ARs in general just aren't that good in Arena because of their poor burst generation. She's decent, but you'll frequently have more effective options to use for PvP. Now, There was one burst 2 that I tested that actually did even more damage than Rupee in the shooting range, and I'll talk about her in another video, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that review. But Rupee is one of my favorite units and is a very high damage attacker you can use in almost any situation. I definitely recommend building her if you have her, put her on that wish list, and let me know your best guess as to who actually managed to outdamage her. Like I said, I'll talk about them in maybe my next review or one coming up soon. And also let me know if I missed anything in this review. And I'll see you guys on the next stream or in the next video.